Good afternoon, everyone. Yep, nice to see you guys here, and thanks for willing to spend your precious weekend with us today. And this is our fourth talk from buildhubjb.com. And by the way, I'm Felix. I'm the MC for today's talk. So once again, I want to say thank you. Thank you for all of the participants for supporting us. Your support is very important to us. So before we start, I would like to do some introduction about what is actually a buildhubjb.com. So if you can, maybe you have some of you have served our website. Actually, buildhubjb was meant to, because it is the first online project management consultancy in Johor. Area of focus, we mainly focus on MBJB, MBIP, MBKU, MPPG, and MDKT. And hopefully in the future, we can provide our service more to the other parts of the Johor and maybe for the whole Malaysia. And the second objective was to solve your doubt and uncertainties on your developments, renovation, including property management. If you are a part of the JMB, MC, and RA, you might have some problems. No problem, just look for us and we'll find a solution for you. And the third thing is, this is a new platform for all internet users that can communicate with professionals such as architects, engineers, planners, quantity surveyors, land surveyors, and like today talk with the ID as well. I mean, professional ID, not the cari makan ID. All right. So then the fourth one is a platform for building materials, service providers, green products that you might like to know more. So we also, this is a platform to communicate with the suppliers and including the service providers and even the contractors. Yep. So we here, buildhubjb.com is to provide professional advice, and the meeting can be done virtually at any time. And budget and costing will be advised by the professionals. All right. So and the most important thing is that all of the works are following Malaysia government guidelines and rules and regulation. Okay. You can always contact us. You can go to our website. You can buildhubjb.com, of course, and you can like our Facebook, buildhubjb as well, and you can go to our website where we have our email address and our phone number there. All right, so please feel free to contact us. Okay, so we move on to today, buildhubjb.com talk number 4. Wow, time flies. So today talks will be made on the interior design, and we will talk about the light and space. So we are very honored. We have a guest of honor. We have our 2 speakers. The first speaker will be architect Ong Chi Yao, the principal of Code Red Studio. And the second one, Mr. Rains Tan, also the principal of Code Red Studio. And one of our most important roles, our moderator, Ms. Alexis Chia, which is the founder of buildhubjb.com. She will personally moderate this talk on this noon. So before we start, I would like all of us, whoever that haven't switch on your video, your camera, please switch on, because we are going to take a group photo. Maybe it'll take about 1 minute. Okay, everybody, please switch on. It will take a while only. Yeah, I only see a few, so we wait, and more coming, more and more coming. All right. Okay. Okay. Well, coming. Okay, coming. Okay. Okay, there's a few more. I will wait for another 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, everybody say cheese. Okay, one more time. Maybe say good. Yep. Thank you. All right. Wait, let me do some. Okay. Okay, so I would like to remind all of you, you can always post your question in the chat box, and from time to time we will go through your question, and of course you might love to have a virtual interaction with our speaker by asking question directly. So we will having a Q&A question after the talk for 15 minutes. If you love to talk to them, please raise your hand and I will open your mic, and so that we can have a more personal touch of asking the question. So, okay, so I'll pass the floor to you, Alexis. Yep, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Felix. Hi, I'm Alexis. Good afternoon, everyone. In this year 2020, we are living in a moment of big changes. We never thought we had been ordered to stay at home, live at home 24 hours daily. Because of this, people finally understand the importance of a good interior design. Designing our homes is not just about making pretty stuff. It is a matter of quality of life or bringing wellness into our homes. As more people are spending more time at home, people are going to invest in proper spaces where they can operate businesses from home, to work from home, and to reinforce a life work environment that wouldn't be interrupted when the next pandemic arises. So here comes today's topic, interior design, light and space. We are very honored to have two guest speakers with us this afternoon. They are the founders of Code Red Studio, CSR. Our first speaker is T.Y. On. T.Y. born and raised living in Fang in Kram. T.Y. and family moved to City 1 during his secondary school, graduated from UTN in Bachelor of Architecture. T.Y. spent his early years pursuing music career. After completing his music journey in Taiwan, T.Y. returned back to Johor Bahru to join Rance and Ryan as partner in CRS. Very much influenced from farm living, T.Y. interest in nature are carried into his design style and philosophy. So T.Y. strives to promote sustainable design and lifestyle to the public. Hi, T.Y. Can I see you now? I need to spotlight you first.
Hi, Alexis.
Let me find you. Can I actually spotlight you?
Okay.
I found you. Okay, so T.Y., how are you?
Okay, hello.
Yeah.
Hi everyone. Hi Alexis. Hi Felix. Thank you for inviting us to today webinar talk for Build Hub. Yeah.
Yeah, nice to meet you here. Happy to see you.
Yes.
Okay, so our second speaker is Rance. Rance originated from Kuala Terengganu. Rance graduated from UTN in Bachelor of Architecture. Rance is a founding partner of CRS with great passion on art and photography. Rance has been an active photographer showcasing his work on travelers. Instead with good sense of portion and framing views, Rance took all CRS completed works photo for publication. He also often finds himself induced in making artworks and painting for clients after the completion of the building works. Hi, Rance. How are you?
Fine. Hello.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Happy to see you here.
Yeah.
Okay, so we start our today's topics. Okay, first of all, we want to understand about the interior design. I believe some of the audience are here with us today. Actually, they want to know more about interior design. So, okay, I have 5 questions here. So, Rance and T.Y., you had to help me to answer these 5 questions in 10 minutes. Okay, what is the interior design?
Okay, this is a very direct question on interior design, but I think we won't be explaining much on the technicality of interior design, what the scope is and how did it came out from. We believe that, of course, interior is basically an outcome from the architecture. where the architecture is actually the shell that is providing shelters and for human beings, and the interior is the outcome that comes together with it, where we live in it. So probably there's a lot of people saying interior design. They are promoting a lot of interior design is about materials and it's about the space. But I think we are looking at it differently, because we think that interior design is about the person living in it. It's about you. So how you feel and what is your senses and the emotion of you living in it, that is what that constitute to the design of the interior design. So whatever that you feel, the client feel, the five senses, the touch, the smells, and what you see, what you hear, and also the emotion that you get, the nostalgic experience from your childhood, all of it actually dictates the behavior of how you think and how you use the space. That is why everyone has a different perspective on how what a good interior design is. So I think that our role as an interior designers is to find out the very important aspect and of the client and get to his brief and his lifestyle, to give him the best of what he thinks of the what interior design is. Yeah.
So like TY, what you say, it's very much depend who are we, which means we are stay in the place that is similar to us. So I can see at your background you got so many plant there. So I will assume you are a green lover. So it's like what you say. It's more to our personal, our behavior. So it's the interior design that make our living, our places that suit to us. Okay, our next question. Do I need an interior design?
Yes, definitely, because in many cases that interior designers are often neglected in the past few decades. I think in Malaysia context is because probably there's a lot of interior maybe contractors who are out there to provide this service. So it is not something that we are surprised, because sometimes in Malaysia context, we are very tend to renovate our houses in the very little budget. Means that probably it's just a few extension or just a fit in of the empty houses. So the role of interior designers are not that significant in this type of works. So it is always in the larger scale of works, maybe like a bungalows, semi-detached, or maybe commercial or an office that people tend to look for interior designer consultant to provide some professional advices. So, but we think that it is important for the consultants to actually give much of our attention to all the clients and to give the best design input. Yes.
I see. Okay. So my next question is, what are the difference between interior designer and ID contractor?
Okay, it is very, very different. If you look at the in the bigger scale, it's like what is an architect role and what is the builders or contractor role. So contractor is those who construct and do the contracting part. So designers are the one who handle the part where design is. So it is important to find the designer first when you have the project that you want to carry on, because designers actually plan and analyze based on your needs. So basically the design process actually start from analyzing the site and analyzing the client and his brief to know what is the best outcome um, for the design. So probably what the contractors will do is just looking at the cost and maybe finding the cheapest way to do it, where it is mostly about business. But for designer part, it doesn't mean that we don't look at the budget, but it means that we are holding the budget as a third party rather than looking at the budget as a profit. Yeah.
I see. Okay, my next question is, shall I engage design and build interior design company, or I shouldn't?
There is no yes or no. It depends a lot on the scale of projects and what the client actually needs. So our suggestion is for a bigger scale projects, it is better to hire interior designers as a consultant, which overlook the whole project as a impartial third party consultants to control the design and the budget and the works. But for smaller scale jobs, like renovation, it is actually good to have the design and build interior companies, because the design and the construction period can be run together. It saves time, and it also saves some. It can save us some costs. Yeah.
I see. So, what TY say for this design and build, if for the small scale project is some sort like this design and build company, they will act as the project manager role, something like this, right?
Yes.
Okay. So my last question is if for a 1,000 square feet condominium unit, if we want to say about the cost for the ID construction cost, how should we actually define this is under the competitive price or middle or premium?
Okay. Actually, we find this question is it is very subjective, but we are discussing as a consultant for in JB in JB for this period of time. For your question is about the cost for 100 square feet apartment. So probably it's about, for the common rate is about 75 to 100,000 to actually get to renovate in a very regular cost, regular budget. But if you are looking at the premium type of design, where the materials and the furnitures that I choose is more to maybe better quality, we are saying it may go up to maybe above 150K, and I don't think we should set a limit, because there is actually no limit on
Premium
construction.
No,
Yes.
yeah, I see. Okay, so this final question is my common question people want to ask about the interior design. Okay, so our topic today is light and space. Actually, this topic is proposed by TY and Grants. So they think these two elements is a very important element in the interior design. So I pass this one to you.
Okay. Okay. Let me first share my screen. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is TY, and as introduced by Alexis, we are part of the Corate Studio, CRS. We are doing architecture and interior designs, and our office located in Piana Mas, JB. And today's topic that we are going to share about is light and space. So why do we pick this topic? what is the essence of natural lighting in interior space? So we are often in the question of the importance of natural sunlight, maybe comparing to artificial lighting, and what are the health benefits, what does it have on the aesthetic, and what does it affect in different type of contexts, maybe in architecture, in interior, or its purpose. So the context of sunlight is also very different in different geographical location. It's very different to have a lot of sunlight here because it might get very hot. And for those countries who has a 4 season, it is also very important how they contain the sunlight in for heat and also for winter time. So for our sharing today, we are not going to be very scientific or very technical on talking about natural lighting. But what we will share about is our opinions on how to let the light in and what kind of materials that can allow the light in. So all these pictures are we get from the internet, and we will also share how we actually use the natural sunlight into the local context by sharing two of our case study, which is one is a terrace house, and the other one is an office. This is our office. Yep. On the next slide, I'm going to show you a series of pictorial journey of natural lighting and its influence to the interior spaces. So there's a sequence of the pictures that I'm going to show you in a very quick way, from a space with no sunlight to a space where natural lighting is a dominant feature in interior. So I'm going to start. I don't think I will explain too much on all these pictures. This is a gloomy photo of the interior without any windows or natural sunlight. So what we are trying to show here is that without sunlight, the interior design does not improve much of the quality of the spaces. All these are without windows and natural sunlighting. And this is an example of a single point entry of sunlight. And by seeing this, we are trying to show that although it's just a very small amount of light, but it actually differs a lot on the quality of space. The living room. We're showing in different styles because styles and natural sunlight does not it does not affect much. So it's actually sunlight alone is a very independent essence. And this picture is showing how the designer is using the sunlight as a feature itself, and how slowly we are bringing it into where designers are using the sunlight combining with a view, especially in those sites that actually allows it. So eventually the light source become a part of the design. And this one actually show a more complex way of getting the sunlight into interior spaces, where if the walls and the windows are not enough, designers may actually get some sources from the sky. And This is how multiple point of entry of the sunlight into the spaces. So by having a multiple point of entry of the sunlight, there is a lot of diffuse light that can be played around. And also the shadow casting of it. Slowly, as I'm progressing into these pictures, you can see that the interior design are getting simpler to the form of a minimalist, and it actually shows that sunlight can be part of the design itself. It is not just creating an opening to let the light in, but how the light comes in actually dictates the whole concept of the interior space. So this picture is showing the ultimate of how the sunlight can be played around, where the shadow casting and the diffuse and the reflection of it actually create a very stunning art piece. And all this actually can portray a very customized mood that the designers wanted to give to the person inside. And this showing how the sunlight actually controls the tone of the materials that's already chosen. And this is how it can actually become an art piece. Okay, the next topic that I'm going to browse very fast is how to let the light in. These diagrams are quite common. I think it can be found in all websites on the discussion on how the lights can come in. So I'm going to summarize it. There are a few ways for direct openings to provide reflective elements, to provide some holes, or doing layerings and also filterings. Every site is very different, so we are not going to discuss on which is the best. And playing with sunlight can get as complex as this diagram, where the designers are actually playing with a lot of reflection and how the shadow casting actually provide a different layering on the space, and how they actually play with artificial lighting together with the natural lighting itself. And these are all that happens throughout the evolve of getting natural light into interior space. There are a lot of ways like LED wells, roofs, like shelf, atriums, and also what we are more common in here is reflective blinds. The elements that allow light in. External wall is very common. Okay, internal wall is basically used to provide lighting for sources of spaces that don't have the direct source from the windows. So it's important to know that the internal walls actually play an important part to let the light in. The doors. The staircase is also very critical. Means that if the underneath of the staircase is not well lit, we can actually rethink the staircase material by choosing a translucent or perforated materials. Even the floors can be designed to allow the light in. It is not very common here in Malaysia, especially for renovation, where poking holes into the existing slab may actually frighten your clients away. The sunlight from the roof is always the best coming in point, but it is very common for the local client to ask how they are going to treat with the people coming in, or maybe how what happened if the workmanship is not good and the rain keep coming in. So there's a lot of question on it, but this is why we are trying to make an awareness on the importance of this type of design details that can actually improve the light source. The material that allow light in. You can have a textured or obscure glass, making into a very interesting combination of the design. This is very common recently, fluted or reeded glass. We can even stain the glass into a colorful forms to create a very interesting space inside. Glass blocks also making a comeback recently. We're actually exploring or using glass block in one of our current design. Hopefully that we have a chance to share it next time. Bricks can be laid in a way that is perforated and mix recycled materials like roof tiles and bricks can be mixed together with the hollow blocks to create a very interesting character to the interior space. A timber lattice, hollow blocks, and also perforated metal sheets. This is what we are going to share to you in our case study in one of our projects. Concrete blocks and polycarbonate making a comeback recently, and also corrugated sheets and a very common louvers. So after sharing with all of you on the ways that we let, how other people let the light in, we are going to share to you how we let the light in, because we're actually a fan of sunlight. So most of our projects, we tend to give this this item as a very important element that we need to take care of. These are a few projects that we actually allow a lot of lights coming into the internal space. Okay, this is a wedding hall. Okay, I think I'm going to pass the slides to my partner, Rains. Right, he will be sharing to all of you about our first case study, which is the filtered lighthouse. Maybe I'll make a short introduction on this house before he start. It is actually a terrace house. We completed this project a few years back, and we actually got an award out of this project. And okay, I'll pass this to Rains.
Okay, hello. Okay, can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, I'm Rains. I'm from Correct Studio, one of the founder. Thanks, Build Hub, for giving us this opportunity to actually share how the interior design, one of the topic of the most important element in interior design, which is light. Okay, so I think Mr. Ong has just shared a lot of interesting how we let lights in interior design. So one of our projects that I'm going to share here, hold on, let me share my screen. Okay. Okay. So it's actually a filtered lighthouse. We name it filtered lighthouse. Okay, so brief introduction is a terrace house. Okay, it's a 20 by 65 intermediate lot. So this is the existing facade, right? And this is the existing interior. So actually, it's located in this house. Yeah. All right. So it's quite typical. It's quite typical for the existing layout. Quite normal for this modern terrace house. So they have actually two entrances. One will be the timber main door, and second one will be the sliding glass door. So living room and dining room is located at this area, and they're actually blocked by two rooms. Actually, it's quite typical in current terrace typology. No? And then you can see that the first floor will have this small family hall area, and also they enlarge the master bedroom to make it big. But they actually provide a very small wardrobe area around here. Okay, so the two rooms at the back with shared toilets. Okay, and our usual practice will be we analyze what's our client brief, and also we analyze how the layout is going to be, is going to work, that fulfill our concepts and also client brief. So this house is actually located facing west, so we have a very bright evening sun, and at the back is the morning sun who are at the back, this area. So through our analysis, they have actually a multiple entrances, which I think is not good because you need to provide a lot of security measure, and also they have a very tight space and a very narrow space around here. The living and dining is quite narrow. Unfortunately, that they are actually blocked by two rooms behind, which is the small kitchen and also small rooms. So it will make a dark spots around the dining area. Okay. And normally common, I mean, terrace house, we often face one problem, which is the visibility is too high. Actually, our neighbor can actually see what we are doing if we didn't close the curtains. Yeah. So
yes, you are right. I will see.
and our master bedroom will be located at the top, and also the visibility is also very high. So we need to always close the curtain when we are doing when we are in the bedroom. And there's a small wardrobe area around here, so the client need a big wardrobes. Yeah. So space planning. Now, on this sharing, I will talk. I will share on more how we plan the space with lights. All right. Okay. So this is our concepts that we want it to be fully light up in the living and dining. So we actually create a patio here to replace the foyer, the existing foyer. So we actually do envelope made by perforated screen. It's made by aluminum, perforated screen. So we create a entrance, the main entrance around here. Then we hack off the existing door, and we create a full height glass window to actually allow the lights into this living area. And as just now TY mentioned, that perforated screen is also an element that will allow lights in. So because this is the west sun, the perforated screen, they can be a filter to the heat of the lights of the west sun, and also privacy for the neighbor, for them when they are in the house. And also they have this how we treat this back area, because this is the morning sun right here, and we actually hack off the room, and we created a small coffee area, breakfast corner around here, and we managed to get a full compact dining and island dry kitchen at this area. Okay, and one more thing that how we let the lights in is that we tie up all the cabinets, the carpentry works, to stick on the wall at the bottom and the staircase area. to actually, we don't want the lights to be blocked by any carpentry at this area. Okay, so this area will be brightened up, and we solve our problem on the dark spots. Yeah, and how we bring up the lights on this coffee area is we introduce hollow blocks to replace the existing window, and create a semi outdoor area for our clients, and separated it with sliding glass. Of course, sliding glass is also a material that allows the lights into the premise. Yeah, so on the first floor, we actually use up the family hall as a wardrobe area. So you have to enter the wardrobe, and then only you enter the bedroom. And the existing wardrobe area, we actually converted it into, to merge it with existing bathroom, because the bathroom is too small, so we merge it together. Okay. So there are some diagrams that we would like to share. So this is the living room area, the living room and the master bedroom. So we actually introduced a full height aluminum perforated screen at the outer area, and this actually created a foyer, a patio, and also a foyer for them. And this area will actually screen out the heat of the sunlight that enters their room, and also privacy, of course. And actually, perforated screen is also act as a security grill that we don't like the normal typical grill that in the market right now. So yeah, hollow blocks also at the back. Is a hollow block at the back. It's also filtered out all the lights, and also giving security to our clients. And the lights that come in is always diffused in the morning. So yeah, later I will show you some of what my client does there. Okay, this is the ground floor, the plan that we propose. So you can see as we hack off the door, and we created a green area here, and we introduced a full glass panel to actually diffuse all the lights in this living area. And also the patio is covered with the aluminum perforated screen. Yeah, so the living is nicely placed and the dining is nicely placed here. So we managed to get a full compact dining area. And the relaxed area will, this is the hollow blocks. Yeah, the hollow blocks. The relaxed area is you don't need to be quite big, don't need to be too big. So it's actually adequate for them. And yeah, this is the new walk-in closet on the first floor. So you have to enter the room, and then you enter their master bedroom. So we have this extended toilet, a full compact bath for them. And yeah, I'll show you some of our completed photos that we shoot. Okay, this is I shoot this recently after 1 year, because we completed at 2019. This one I shoot after MCO. Yeah, so we purposely off all the lights in the living room, and we wanted to show that how the filtered lights is going to happen at the living area. All right, so you can see the carpentry all with tight skin, so the lights would be coming through all the living and dining. Okay, so these are the perforated mesh screen that just now I mentioned.
So the sunlight actually comes from the green area, right?
Yeah,
so
the green
one at the side.
This area, this area is also this. The light is actually filtered. It's filtered.
Come from front and come from side.
Yep, correct. Okay, and this is the one that I mentioned, the full glass panel, the existing door, and we actually let the lights in diffusely, and also the neighbor cannot see what's happening inside because it's actually covered with the wall at the side. Okay, this is the view when you enter the house. Okay, you can see at the back there's these glittering lights happening at the back. It's quite interesting. And this is their normal breakfast area at the back. So you can see that these two carpentry that we tied it, and we give a very full openness area to the living and dining. Yeah, at the back, the coffee area, I would say breakfast area. Yeah, they managed to plant a lot of monstera and all those small plants, and yeah, it suits well at the back corner. And this is also the one that I off the light, and I want to show how the lights come in, yeah, from the dining area. So it's actually very interesting if you manage to play with the van blocks. We have this solid van block and also a hollow van block, and also a half solid van block. 3 types of van block that we actually played around and created this nice artwork at the back. So you can see the bottom part will be all closed because they scared a lot of snakes coming in. Yeah.
So it's a hollow one, right?
Yeah, it's a hollow one. These are all the lights that are coming in. Yeah, so these are all the solid blocks. So the upper bedroom, these are all the feel of it, how the lights enter their bedroom in the evening. Yeah, you can see the shadow casting that runs through the perforated screen that actually create a very nice painting at their TV console area. Okay. So these are all the shadow casting that happen in the evening. This is the owner when I hand over. So I managed to capture this very nice shadow that casts inside this foyer area, and also the bedroom area. We actually also give, we are not actually fully covered. We still want them to enjoy the view to the outside. So we actually create a void here also. Later I'll show you the exterior, how we do it. Yeah, this is the exterior part. So we make it whitewash. So the perforated screen is well planned at the ground floor, the foyer area, and also the master bedroom. So we still follow back the existing footprint, the outline of the house. And these are the existing grill. Existing grill they provide, and we paint it white. And also so the perforated screen will be placed properly to fit in with the louvers.
Yeah, just like one piece.
Yeah, so this is the void that I mentioned just now, them to view out the what's happening outside.
Oh yeah, it's true.
So these are some photos that I collected from my client. How they actually I captured some of their stories in Instagram. So these are some of the stories that they share in their Instagram. So you can see they like it a lot. How the sunlight is actually portrayed on the carpentry works. And also when their friends visit, they actually didn't on all the lights. They just open up the glass sliding, and also the curtains, and the light is actually bright enough for them to actually do chit chat or watch movie. And when they're having their weddings, they have a lot of decoration on their perforated aluminum sheets. Yeah. And how they actually enjoy using the space that we created. And some selfies, some breakfast that they share. And they use they always eat their breakfast in the breakfast corner. Yeah. So yeah, we won the Best Landed Gold Award in 2009 by GDA Award. These are our team. Yeah. All right. This,
Yeah, it's a very good idea of this one. So I think not only the bring in the sunlight, it actually also bring in the ventilation. I
Yeah.
believe it's a very cool house, right?
yeah.
Yeah, because not
Bring
only
in ventilation.
because not only bring in the light in the front and the back, you also got this white, and then I believe the air actually is circulate lah.
Yes,
Yeah.
I would like to add on the like what Alexis mentioned. With the sliding glass door open, then we actually allows cross ventilation at all time. So with the perforation at the front and the back, that is actually quite fixed. So we are actually doing a perforation on the whole house. Then we control the air at the second layer. So it means that when the second layer is so close up, then it is actually an enclosed one. Then when it's opened up, we actually allows cross ventilation throughout the whole day. Yep.
Yeah, I think now we are like I think this is a very good case project, because our weather now is like suddenly so hot, suddenly so cold, and then some people actually when we in this now we are actually want to go green. So instead of using so many lighting, aircon, we actually try to using the natural side lighting, natural air. So this project, I think, is very good to share.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Alexis. Okay. Now we are going to share our second case study.
Another second case study, I believe, is a office. Is it?
Yes. It's an office.
It's an office. So just now the housing is an intermediate terrace. So the size is what's the size of the
20 by 65.
Sorry?
20 by 65.
20 by 65 is a quite common terrace size in the market lah.
Yes.
Yeah. So seeing this, actually we can also make the intermediate. We can also actually make the intermediate house so lightful with the bringing out light. We not only have to get the corner one. People always say, okay, terrace, you have to go get the corner one. Otherwise, you cannot get the bring in the sunlight. You cannot bring in all the natural air. So we can still doing by this way. Okay, so you want to share this case study too, right?
Yeah. The case study 2 is a box-like office. It is actually an office. So after done sharing the terrace house, which is normally a very critical area that we are unable to get sunlight from, an office is also quite a common thing that happens in Malaysia, that especially involve the terrace typology. So for this client, it's actually quite special because they are accommodating on this corner unit for over a decade. So they actually purchased the second shop office upstairs, the first story, which they want to expand their office into this area. So what happened is previously, actually using just one unit, ground floor and the first floor. So they are now wanting to use the first floor, the whole area as their office, and while maintaining the ground floor as a cafe. So because this is actually a very old shop, so the structural and also the component of it is very different from what happened in the current shop of we bought now, because for now the structural elements and the leveling is all very uniform. But for this project, it's quite different because the next door, the structural element is actually quite different with the next the one beside. So what we are having the issue on getting this site is we don't know if these two shops are actually on the same level. Means that on the first floor, the one on the existing and the new extension, it might differ. So there are many things that we don't know that we have to check on site before we start designing. So the left is what happened on the existing, and the right is the extension that they wanted to renovate. So because it's decade over, so the construction method is all very different. It has a very, very low beam height. So the clearance of the beam to the floor is less than 2,400. So what we are going to do is we propose to hack off the ceiling because it's a very old shop, so the condition is not good. So we would also like to check on the structure and see what actually we can play around with. So this is the old, the new shop, which is actually the old shop lah. Okay, as you can see, the front and the back, they only have one point of entry of light, and the window size is very, very small. So what happened is it's actually very, very dark in the middle part of the shop. And there is also part of the existing roof that is RC flat roof. Causing us it's impossible for us to open up that part to make it higher. Okay, the client actually briefed us where he actually needs about 16 packs and a meeting space for the whole office. And the client actually already tried to plan it out, but they could not achieve a comfortable installation, and they could not fit a meeting area. And the hardest part is actually the operation, where the clients actually wanted to make use to start up the renovation work on this right side on the first month. Then they move in here. Then the second phase will be on the existing one. Then only they will open up the whole thing. So it was rather a challenging work for us to plan for the whole construction period and also the method. Also, one setback that we find out is difficult is that the curve condition is making the planning very hard, and there's a lot of exposed beams and columns in a various heights, and it's not on grid. It's not on the aligned grid. Before we design, we actually study and identify the dark spot where actually the point of entry of light is very limited. The internal part is very, very dark, and it can be resolved by using artificial lighting, but we think that it is not sustainable. So we emphasize a lot on this to the client and try to put up a design that actually allows natural lighting to come in. So normally that's what happened to most of the client. They are not aware of the essence of natural lighting. So it is our role to keep pushing this and be very consistent on finding out a way to resolve this matter. So what we do is we hack off the existing ceiling and we identify all the low beams. So after hacking up, we find out that the roof truss above is actually in a very good condition. And we found out that these two units are actually sharing a joint roof truss, which create a triangular shape at the middle part, where it is actually sharing this roof together. We also found out that the existing RC flat roof, there is a skylight that enable people to go up for servicing, and it actually inspired us to have the natural sunlight coming in, because when we hack over all these spaces, we found out that it's really very nice to have this skylight over here in the middle part of the building.
I think in the office, we also very rare to see the sunlight in the shop office.
Yeah,
it's very rare, right? So this one is a two-story office, is it? Oh,
yes, it's a two-story office.
Oh, it's an old shop office.
Very old shop office.
House,
yeah, so you can see the height, everything is actually very, very low and very small. So after hacking off the ceiling, we realized that, as I mentioned just now, there's actually a shared roof truss on this part of the roof. So we think that this actually already dictates the whole circulation of the space. We can actually make use of this part as a gathering space, and we tuck all the working area surrounding it. So by splitting these two, it's actually create a very good circulation where the entrance and the new entrance are all linked up together without having to pass through the workspace, and the workspace and the circulation space are really clearly defined. Besides that, we also asked the contractor to try out on changing part of the roof tiles into a transparent one, and by carefully choosing which part to actually bring in sunlight, we try to minimize the heat, the overheat that comes in into the working space. But the intention is also to bring in as much of the natural sunlight inside the working space.
Yeah, sometimes we also very constructive. We want the sunlight, but we don't want the heat.
Yeah,
that's a human. We want all the good things, but we don't want
yes.
Yeah.
It's a challenge and it's a balance.
It's a challenge, like,
yeah.
Sometimes we love the sunlight, but sometimes we also pull out the curtain.
Okay. So from all the findings that we found on the existing condition, the setbacks, the disadvantages, we found a lot of advantages that made us into having this final layout where we can have a meeting room in the middle and we tuck all the workspace to the side. And by having that, we also introduce a lot of new point of entry of lights coming in, which is at the rear part. We set the light, we set the wall in with glass to allow some balconies. But by doing this, we also allow the light coming in indirectly into the workspace over here. And for the meeting room, we also allow the light from the roof, and it actually contributes the light coming into this workspace over here. So the most critical part that we found is actually this working space is it does not get any of the sunlight direct source directly. So we tap into plenty of the adjacent workspace next to it to actually allow some sunlight going into this part. So all of this partition that is separating these few zones of workspace is actually made of glass. So there's many times that we use glass in the office for just visibility, but I think most of the time glass is also very good for providing to bring forward the sunlight into the space that does not have the privilege to get one. So this section is showing how we are bringing sunlight from the roof at the top and also from the side. This one is actually the existing one for the corner unit. So by having this section, we also know that this is actually quite a good breathing space for the low ceiling working space. So if we are to cover up this whole thing, then the whole office space will feel uncomfortable by the very low ceiling height. So yeah, so this actually provides a contrast where they actually can tap into this breathing corner over here and does not feel the stress of working under a very low ceiling height space.
Just now you mentioned the ceiling height only 2.7.
Yeah, it's only 2.4.
2.4.
Yeah.
After you dismantle all the ceiling,
yes,
you can gain some height lah, maybe 2.7 lah. But still very low lah.
Still very low.
So you actually use back the old time skylight.
Skylight. We use back the concept of skylight in the middle part of this.
Something like air well lah.
Yes. So from here, this is our final plan. Let me bring you guys through from the entrance. So once entering for the entrance, the glass over here actually provides a very good incoming, welcoming entrance statement where people can actually feel the overall space here where it is quite big over here. So once they enter, they actually enter to a gathering space, a meeting space without entering into the workspace. So this clearly already set a very clear boundary line between the working and the meeting area. But in order to not control, in order to not obstruct the view of this workspace and this, from this section, actually we are using a very low barrier for the furnitures and also all the partitions. So people are actually feeling that it is actually quite an open plan office. So as you can see, after a lot of thoughts, we put all the printer room, the workspace, PM room, all at the perimeter, and obtain a very nice looking meeting room in the middle. So the right side is how we play on the box of the light that coming in, and we carry on from this square pattern into all of the design that we do to the furnitures and even to the lights. So you can see the lights that we designed. It has some randomness of the square box on the top. So this is the completed pictures.
Oh, the square one is a natural lighting, is it?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Just now I wonder, what is this? It's a natural lighting. Okay.
So this was taken about 1 or 2 p.m. So it is where the sun is slightly off the top. So we are time. Yeah. So it is a time where the sun is actually directly onto the meeting space. So yeah, and you can see that part of it we can actually capture some glare from the sunlight itself, and how you actually
so much different.
Yeah,
yeah,
it's a lot different.
Actually, what are they doing? Actually, this office is quite.
This office is also a consultant. Yeah. Yeah. So they are doing a lot of drawing jobs.
Seems like they are living a very creative environment.
Yes.
Very good environment.
So we also in the middle part, because it's very it's very big, and the clients actually have a lot of rules in his storage and his filing methods. So we actually designed the filing cabinets to have a bench as well at this part, so that these two parts of the bench can actually communicate with each other. So it means that when people are here, then they can sit around here and talk to each other together with the meeting table. So during our photo shoot, the meeting table wasn't done. It was actually proposed as a solid timber, so it got some time off from the work program. So this is how it looked like. Although we have a barrier to create a very clear boundary between this working space and the meeting space, but we actually allow a void to let them see through each other. So the furniture design is carry on from the shape of the square that comes in as a light. We carry it out throughout the furniture detail. So the furniture that we did is those with some square pattern on it, and it is consistently applied to all the things that we designed into this new office. So the middle part of the meeting room is actually also help up from the artificial light in the middle. So for nighttime, that's actually where there's no sunlight in, so they will rely on this particular line. So this panel is actually camouflage to the existing beam over here on the top. So from here, this pic, maybe you can't see it much because we paint the whole roof to be in the darker tone. So it's actually a lot of beams running through around here. So we painted it black in a very dark tone, so that it's not obvious.
You can't even realize that there's a bin.
Yes. That's
You don't have something purposely do out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So a lot of things are actually camouflaged by having a design process. So it cannot be happen without properly looking at it, without properly analyzing it. So it is also quite lucky for us to have a client that actually believe in what we propose. We believe in what we emphasize. So these are a few pictures of what's going on during the construction period. As you can see, even the workers are finding that this bench is useful for them to rest.
Very good.
Yeah.
Relax.
So all these pictures are actually taken by Rains. He's a professional photographer.
Oh, no wonder the photo so professional.
So most of the time, after the completion, we bring the whole team to feel the space so that we know that the things that we create actually works. It doesn't only works on the paper, but it's very important to feel it after the completion so that we learn from the thing. We learn from some mistakes and we actually gain from knowing more. So the similarity of these two projects, from the first one and the second one, it is actually we increase a lot of point of incoming lights. So after increasing it, we layer it, we filter it to create a very comfortable environment. So what we want to achieve from the talk today is actually not to tell you how important the natural sunlight is, but we want to tell you the essence that we need to realize, so that in the client perspective, the client will always tell the designer that we want the natural lighting, so that the designer can work his way out to find a solution to create a better lit interior space. As for the consultant, it is our role to advise the client that every space needs to be well lit. So we have to find ways like those that I discussed earlier, how to make the light in and what materials that we can use to let the light in. With both ways, the consultant and the client have to play this important part. So thank you.
So like what TY saying that even like your two case sharing, the first one is a terrace house, intermediate terrace house with a size of 20 by 65, and even with a short old short houses with a very low ceiling, we can still play around with the space and the lighting. So with the space, well planning on the space and the lighting, we can actually make our place look so special and very good. And then the ventilation and side lighting, all are those we are actually looking for. So please, for your side, we are now enter the Q&A part. So I will pass this section to you.
Hi, I'm back. Well, first of all, I want to say that I am very impressed of what have Code Red Studio done. All the spacing, planning, and all the lighting is a vital in order to get a very good spacious feeling or whatever warm feeling that you wanted. And to be frank, I am quite impressed and well done. So we will go into our next session, which is our final session of this talk will be the Q&A. All right. So without wasting any more time, I will start with the first question. The first question is from Evergan. Hi, what will be the color temperature of the light you recommended for each spaces? For living area to achieve the warm feeling as shown, what is the color temperature needed? Yep, that's the first question.
Yeah. So you're asking for the terrace house, right? The living room area. Yeah, the living room area, we created the warm feeling as shown. We actually use different kind of color temperature. Like for living room, normally we use 4000K. 4000K for seldom use downlights. Downlights is only for bedrooms. Yeah, and we have a few of. If you're asking on how I created the warm feeling, is also dependent on the ceiling diffuse lights, the light tunnel at the side area. That area we are still using 4000K. Yeah, we are still using 4000K lights to create the warm ambience.
Okay, I add on from Rains. 4000K is quite common for our usage because it's in the middle of the very yellow and too white tone. So 6K to 7K is very white. That's usually happen to what we have in our pentafloor light. And 3K is what happened during the 90s, where most of the space is actually too yellow and people feel that they cannot read or do anything. So we find that 4K is quite comfortable to create the mood and also to make it a very livable space. But it's also very subjective to the client needs. So we actually need to show them what are the temperatures will make the room the ambience. So some clients want to lit up the whole space with where they feel like, okay, I can see everything. But some clients are okay with just a little bit touch of the point lights. So we actually prefer point lights. It actually creates a mood. And by having that, you can have an option of the downlight in the second layer where you can actually light up the whole thing. But just provide options. That's our advice. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I think that answered the question. Okay, the second question came from Umaswaran. Hi, may I know how you deal with any structural elements such as columns and beam, if there are any in the section? Is it to be hacked off?
So I think this one comes from the engineer. Okay.
I will answer first before Rains. Okay. So for structural elements, we don't usually advise the client to hack off any structural parts, especially those that are very vital and those that we are able to resolve by design. So our experience is usually we tend to get over with it. Means that we design something that camouflage the structure or to make the structure disappear from visual. So in the event that there is a need, then we definitely will invite the structural engineer to give us advice on the columns or the beam that need to be strengthened or need to be added. That is actually out of our scope, but what we can do is actually to camouflage it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So our next, do you have any more questions? I think we got a lot of questions coming in, right?
Yep. Hold on, too many questions. All right. So the first question came from Charlie's Chai. Hi, how much is the renovation cost of the terrace house? I think early on we did mention, right? Maybe Rains, would you like to answer this question?
Yeah, sure. The total renovation cost for the terrace house is included all the furnitures and appliances is around 340K. Yeah, around that. Yeah, so basically it's around 150 per square feet. Yeah.
So you're talking about the 160 per square feet.
150, 160 like for
150 and 160.
already works. Yeah.
Yeah, this one is include all the furniture and all the renovation work all together lah. So we are talking about the terrace house. Maybe for the do we actually look into what's the size of the terrace house?
The size is around 20 by 65, and the total build up is around 2,000 plus. Yeah.
2,000 plus. Okay.
Okay. Yep. Understand on that one, but I need to remind. Sometimes the cost might be varies. Depends on what is the client needed. What is the
Very
requirement?
subjective lah.
Yeah,
So
it's a very
mm,
subjective. All the figures that we are giving now is it's a more on the reference. All right. Okay, but I don't think it will differ so much lah. All right. Okay. So wait okay. So the next question is came from WL. Hi. For the office layout configuration, by placing the meeting room at the middle without any wall, wouldn't that will cause any disturbance to the workers whenever there is a meeting? Thanks.
Okay. Uh, the meeting is actually for the internal use. Because of it is a quite a special case because the client actually have another meeting room with the external clients, means that not the staff lah. So they are using it at the ground floor. So first floor is mostly for internal use. So I guess that when they are doing a meeting, this is what they wanted. They wanted the those working to be able to listen in or chip in a few ideas, or to still create an open plan kind of interaction. So for very private meetings, they will actually do it downstairs.
oh, so this meeting room is more to the meeting room for the staff lah, internal
Yes,
meeting. Yes. So they also get another meeting room at the ground floor lah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just now I also wondering, the meeting room is so open, no? Okay. So maybe please.
Yeah. Okay. I understand on that one. So more on the personal use. Okay. The next question came from Harrison Ong. The budget come first or the idea come first? What if there is a great idea, but the customer cannot afford?
Okay. For us, our usual design process is always the idea first. Because the materials that we choose and the method of doing it, there's actually many ways. So the budget can be controlled at the later stage, but the big picture has to be done at the very initial planning stage. So without the big idea, the budget usually doesn't matter. So in your question is whether we will actually drop the idea when the budget is not enough. So what we usually do is we try to understand the client budget at the initial stage. Then during our design stage, we will actually get our contractors or some peers to actually advise if they have done it before, and we'll get some estimates before we actually propose to the client. Yeah.
Okay, I think that normally that is the way, because the idea must come first. Then only we will know that how to execute it and how we control the cost. I think that is what TY is telling us. So okay, the next question, Jackie Lim. Hi, what is the most difference on the interior design regarding light and space planning between registered architect and interior designer? What are the most I'm not, I don't quite understand what is the question, but I think what he is trying to ask is what is the difference between the architect and ID in terms of when they are doing the interior design. So yeah.
I think Jackie also mentioning about the space and lighting.
So the space and planning.
Space and planning.
Regarding the light and space and planning.
It's two elements. It's our topic also.
So Tiwa, how do you think about it?
The first question is about how the lighting and the space, the connection between these two. So for us, we think that the space actually dictates by the lighting, and but it also very subjective. If the space that the client wants, they did not want any lighting, so it means that it's always lighting that comes first. So how we plan the whole thing actually very subjective to the client brief and the program. And the second thing is about the architect and the difference of interior concept from an architect and interior. I think for our part, we cannot say that there is a obvious difference, but we tend to look at things internally and externally. So there is also a lot of great interior designers that are able to look at the external part of the building. And there is also a lot of architects that is unable to see the interior part of the building. So I think these two elements has to work together as for how we actually train from architects begin to pick up things like interior designers do. So I think there should be a more collaboration, a more close collaboration between architects and interior designers to actually form up a very united concept in terms of when they are handling a project, rather than the architect start doing first, then only the interior designers come in. So actually the whole thing has to stick together, and it's very important for the interiors designer to know what the architect's trying to do and what is the concept about at the very first place.
Okay, yeah, understand. I do agree about that, because who's coming first, who's coming later, I think it did affect a lot of most of the projects. Yeah, so okay, so the next question is from me. What do you think that interior design and feng shui can live harmoniously together?
I let Rains to answer.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. I think that is a lot of, I think you have encountered a lot of client asking about this one, right?
Yeah.
I'm not the first one, I think.
Feng Shui is actually a very subjective Chinese method of metaphysics in current era. I mean, like, you cannot actually tell your client that you cannot follow this Feng Shui, right? Because you are now a Feng Shui master, and they paid. They actually get all these consultant, Feng Shui consultant, to actually plan on their wellness and their health, maybe, or their living, their next generation. So we try to actually design based on their colors, some spaces, but we still using our ideas on how to incorporate with their Feng Shui. Yeah. Eventually, sometimes we will get frustrated, yeah, because of some spaces that we cannot get the most best out of it, but we still try our best to actually incorporate with our client brief and the Feng Shui master.
Yeah. So that's mean you will still try your very best to suit the Feng Shui lah.
Okay. Try to find the balance, I would say.
Yeah, try to find the balance. Okay, our next question, and our new question came from CH Lee. Hi, is it possible to use perforated sheet as grill without making changes to the permanent structure? Do you know how much would it cost for terrace house? Thanks. Yep.
Sorry, is it possible? Okay.
To use a perforated sheet as grill without making changes to the permanent structures?
Actually, perforated sheet, it depends how you design it. The structure of perforated sheet is actually quite easy to cut it. Yeah, because it's aluminium. But the structure that take place on whether you want to make it a real grill or just aesthetic facade of it. Let's say you can actually design the structure of it with the 150 to 100 to 150 mm gap. It's actually quite, it can give the, it's actually give the sorry,
like the safety features. So
Yeah.
I thinking he tried to ask whether this one can act as a grill, so can in the same time can make it look nicer. Then also can safety feature also can achieve.
Yeah.
What we already showed at the case study number 1 is actually quite a solid use as a grill. We actually tried it a lot of times. It actually works very well, but it also depends on how your clients or how the client wants it to be secured. So everyone got a different perception on security. So of course, it can be. It is not as strong as the solid hollow section,
Yes.
but by placing the bracing and making the panel smaller, this panel is actually quite strong itself. So to having people coming in straight away, it is also a type of barrier. So I think it is good enough. It is good enough as a safety grill.
Okay. Yep. I hope that it answer your question.
I think we
Lee.
will have because of the time. I think maybe we have another last question.
Yeah. Is there any last question? If no, I will be giving the last question.
I think I saw one message the chat box from
Is
Jackie
it?
Lin. Hope one day we can engage CRS for our
Oh.
project. It's a commitment, I think.
All right.
Okay, so
okay.
please, you got any questions?
Yep. My last question. What are the advice to our first-time house owner or to our house owner to be on the planning and budgeting aspect? Any advice? I think a lot of people, when they bought the new house, they already have their dream home in mind, what they are trying to do, but they don't know where to start. So from your side, CRS, what do you advise?
Um, Maybe I will answer in a way that how we usually deal with our during our first meet with the client. Usually what we do is we get the brief, which is the program of what the client need. That usually includes how many rooms, which type of room that they wanted to make it better, and what type of space they wanted to make it better. So from there, then we can know that which area that we are looking at, and from the site visit or from the plan and from the elevations, we can know what type of problem that this house can be resolved. So and what type of things can be improved to them. Then the next stage will be us trying to know what kind of style or what kind of mood that the clients wanted. So from there, we actually we'll be showing some images, or rather the client will show us some images. Then from there, we will get to know the behavior of the client, or what type of mood that they wanted, rather than what type of color that they want. So we usually don't go so specifically on asking on this question, but we wanted things to be as gray as possible, so that we can find the solution that actually different from other people. So we are not trying to find a direct solution or a direct instruction. So we wanted a very general brief. Then we will advise based on our experience. Yeah.
Okay. So the most important thing is the first meeting is free one, right? FOC one, right? Yeah, I believe so, because I think CRS will try their best to give you the most solution. Then we'll let the client to decide whether they wanted to proceed further. Of course, in your mind, your idea, what your dream house, and of course we need to face the reality as well. The budgeting, that one we need to really take care of. So yeah, so we are going to end our talk very, very soon. So Okay, this is the most important part, the contact from our Mr. Ong T. Yao and Mr. Rains Tan. So this is the contact. I think later on we will forward this name card to all of the participants. So if you have anything, you can directly ask from them. And of course, you can always come to buildupjb.com. We will try to arrange whatever queries that you might have in your mind. And last but not least, I want to say thank you to Mr. Ong, Rains, and Alexis for joining us today. And of course, not to forget to our participant as well. Yep, it's a 4 o'clock, 4 something. Maybe it's time for you to go and have a good coffee and good cake, or maybe some tea time. Yeah, so that's it. We will see you again. So our next, we will be continuing, have our next topic. We are arranging on maybe a talk on green building. Some of the people might be thinking of to make their building green, a new building or green or an old building, existing building. We are trying to arrange something on it, and we also are trying to do some topic about the waterproofing. I think because now the, the weather is not so stable. Sometimes rain, sometimes very sunny, but when rains, when it leaks, it makes your day miserable. So we also are trying to do something on it as well. Okay, so thank you, Rain. Thank you, TY, Ong. Thank you, Alexis.
Thank you.
Thank you. And we'll see you guys again.
Thank
Goodbye.
you.
Yeah, thank
Bye.
you.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
Bye.